So let's talk about magazines. I am an older millennial. I grew up in the best time for pop culture. In the late 90s, the early 2000s, pop culture was everything. And there were just like certain magazines that I always looked forward to grabbing every month. Whether it was GQ, whether it was Vibe, whether it was Essence and Ebony and Vogue, I looked forward to those publications. That's how I knew what was hip. That's how I knew what was cool. Over the years, I've sort of kept a personal collection of some of my favorite magazines, specifically with my girl Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, Michelle Williams, Solange Knowles. There's not very many magazines that I have in my archive that does not feature those ladies. There's a couple of issues that come to mind. I have Edward Inningful's last issue of British Vogue. I believe there's a cover of Serena Williams on Vogue. Outside of those two moments, it's all Destiny's Children. But I've been feeling about magazine covers, especially fashion magazine covers, especially Vogue magazine covers. I've been feeling like André Leon Talley.
First of all, it's been a very bleak week so far. It's been Bleak Street over here in America. You know what? It's a famine of beauty. It's a famine of beauty. It's a famine of beauty, honey. My eyes are starving for beauty.
But when Vogue dropped the covers, I said covers because there are 4 covers for their May issue. It took me back to the 2000s. It took me back to the time where I couldn't wait to go out and grab the latest issue. The 4 men on the cover are the co-hosts of this year's Met Gala, and the theme is Superfine, Tailoring Black Style. The other thing that I really love about the May issue is that Anna dedicated the issue essentially to the late, great André Leon Talley. She says, "I've thought of Andre so many times, happy and bittersweet memories mixed together. I thought of how when he was doing something one might have found slightly over the top, like playing tennis in full Vuitton, it was for Andre an act of supreme confidence, of total self-possession. Andre knew who he was, and I know how much he would have adored Superfine, every aspect of it, the planning, the press conferences, this issue, the exhibition catalog, how many outfits he would have planned for the parties to come, and not just for him, but for me, for everyone in my family, his friends, my friends, muses, fashionable acquaintances, anyone at hand. I'll be thinking of him on the night of the Met Gala, an evening made for him, and one I can scarcely believe he will miss." All right, so this ASAP cover and spread was just chef's kiss for me. The cover shoot was done by Tyler Mitchell. You'll remember he, I believe, was actually the first Black photographer to shoot a Vogue cover years back when Beyonce was on the September issue. And the styling for this shoot was done by the incredible image architect, Law Roach. Of course, the shoot took place in Harlem, and in fact, a lot of it took place in Langston Hughes' Harlem home. And ASAP even incorporated some of his personal items, like he brought a lot of his vintage Vuitton and Goyard trunks. When I think about the vibe and the attitude of Superfine, of Dandyism, I definitely think of ASAP as a modern dandy, someone that truly understands who they are and how they want to turn up in the world. And I think that translated so effortlessly through this spread, through the cover. And how awesome was it that we even got some photos of him and his grandmother, Kathy, as part of the spread. Let me know, what did you think about the May issue of American Vogue? Were you into the covers? If you were, what was your favorite cover? What was your favorite spread? And if I'm tripping and there have been other Vogue covers that you thought were really excellent over the past couple of years, let me know in the comments. And until next time, thank you guys for catching up with LB. So there is a little method to my stacking. The issues that are the longest are actually the British Vogue magazines. So I've got 3 British Vogue issues, 2 of B, and 1 that is Edward Inningful's last issue. So they gotta go on the very bottom, followed by the magazines from L, Solange, and B. I'm so surprised like magazines don't have like a universal size. Very interesting. So then once I stack those L magazines, I then come in with Harper's Bazaar magazines. It's a Solange cover, and I think a couple of Beyonce covers. Okay. And so then I bring in the big telephone books, the big, huge Vogue magazines. These things are humongous, like heavy, heavy, heavy. I'm not like overly obsessive about it all. Like, as long as it kind of makes sense, like, I'm okay with it. Now I add the latest Vogue. That's a 10-year gap. That's crazy. 2015 to 2025. 10 years apart, same shelf. All right, the next couple that I usually put up here are Old Giant. I don't know if anybody remembers Giant magazine, um, but Giant and Vibe. And then I basically have a bigger stack of magazines that are some GQ, Glamour, um, it's an old wrap-up magazine with Tiana, Carrie Hilson, and Solange. But all of those really kind of stack up nicely and have um, similar dimensions. And then the next set of magazines are all from the good folks over at Essence. It's about time for me to start a secondary magazine stack on this shelf. I think I'm gonna, um, yeah, I think I'm gonna buy a new shelf. And then I just finish it off with like some of the playbills of like shows I've gone to see. I went to see Brandy in Chicago. I just went to see Death Becomes Her with Michelle Williams. And so I just add those up there along with some very personal items, like the receipt from the very first international trip I took with my parents, some notes that I've gotten while I travel, and my passports.